update on the flooding and the search and recovery efforts to find the missing people there in the devastated area in Kerr County, the Texas Hill Country. And of course, we'll bring you more on that when that becomes available. All right, now we're going to bring in House Armed Services Committee member, Georgia Congressman Rich McCormick. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time today, and welcome to National Update. I know that you previously voiced concern over former President Joe Biden's mental decline. You're a doctor, an ER physician to be exact. From a medical perspective, what did you see that gave you pause when it came to Joe Biden?
Well, it's interesting, and people say it's unprecedented to bring a doctor before Congress. His lawyer was citing that. One of my best friends in Congress is Ronnie Jackson, who was the was the president's physician for 3 different presidents, who was brought multiple times before Congress and the Senate. And so this is not unprecedented. You have a very public life. This guy was in hiding most of the time because they tucked him away because they knew his mental decline was so obvious that the average layperson could identify it. I said when he was campaigning, he was misinterpreting emotions. You could see he either had Lewy body dementia or Alzheimer's dementia, whatever you want to call it. He was not the same person he was 10 years before that, and it just got worse. His ability to actually walk and go upstairs, ride a bike, that was all on public display, showing his rapid decline. He was not making decisions toward the end. Now what we found out is he had a pen signature from some sort of automated system, that his son was heavily involved in decision-making processes, that his staff was probably making a lot of his decisions. That is wildly concerning for anybody who worries about the most powerful position in the world and the serious consequences downstream of those decisions that were made on his behalf.
Yeah, and I mean, it could even take a layperson, a doctor, to see all that was happening with him. We heard from Kilmeny just before we broke in to that press conference that Dr. O'Connor pleaded the Fifth. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, it's interesting. He pleaded the Fifth on whether he was even asked to lie. Now, that doesn't seem like something that would incriminate him, and of course, unless he did lie. So that, to me, is incriminating in the fact that he would deny even whether somebody else did something nefarious. That means he has a lot to hide. I can understand pleading the Fifth on something that you did wrong, but don't plead the Fifth on something somebody else did wrong. It's obvious that it was a massive cover-up, probably to an extent that I didn't even realize, because we don't know what decisions were made without the president's actual interpretation of data, his ability to make decisions. As a matter of fact, I think they just avoided even asking him at all towards the end because he wasn't there. You could see the confused look on his face. He couldn't debate. It was so obvious to the American people that they withdrew his nomination and they put an equally weak candidate in front of the people to go against Trump, and that's why he won by monumental measures.
Yeah, and one of the things that Dr. O'Connor, I guess, was concerned about, he mentioned doctor-patient privilege during the testimony, which, okay, that's understandable, right? But we're talking about a person who was president of the United States, Congressman, as tasked with very important duties, like protecting our nation. So isn't it important that we have a mentally and physically fit president? And isn't that a matter of national security as well?
Well, ironically, like I said, Ronnie Jackson was brought before Congress about President Trump and was very honest. Yeah, the guy is absolutely there. He's probably one of the most ambitious, energetic, well-thinking men, especially at nearly 80 years old. And yet Ronnie Jackson never had to lie, and he was punished for his support of the president and his abilities. And yet this doctor wants to cover it up and then plead the Fifth and think that's okay. No, this is a very public analysis of the president's abilities. The people want to know. That's how we make decisions, whether we want him to be president or not, whether he should have even been relieved as the commander-in-chief, somebody who actually has oversight on the nuclear button. That is about as important decisions as you could possibly have. And if you're covering that up, think about the downwind consequences of that. The most important decisions that anybody in this world could make, this guy was not capable of, and that should never happen. That's the people's business.
Yeah, I'm getting the wrap here, but I quickly want to ask you this question because I'm really curious about this. As a doctor, I mean, could he lose his medical license if he was found to lie about the president's mental and physical fitness?
Well, certainly. I mean, you talk about pleading the Fifth and not wanting to give up patient privacy, but then you lie about it. that's giving up privacy and lying simultaneously. So he has no defense there. So I think it would be jeopardizing.
All right, we're going to leave right there. Thank you so much, Congressman, for joining us. We appreciate it. It was a pleasure.
Great day. Semper Fi.
All right, well, online opinion editor for the Washington Times, Cheryl Chumley, is here now to weigh in. She is our special guest today. Cheryl, great to see you again.
Hi, Tracy. Great to be with you.
Great to be with you. So your thoughts on the doctor pleading the Fifth?
I think it was very